So this video is going to be on a Honda Hr215 walk behind push more. With the thing's got a 3-speed transmission. Should be a simple carburetor fix, and we're just going to see. This is one of those cases where you got to trust the customer, but based on the looks of the machine, I believe he was telling the truth. So stay tuned, we'll get right into it. Like I said, we're going to be working on this Honda HR. It's a Hr215. It's an older more. It's got that good deck on it with a direct drive transmission. Got your 3-speed transmission up here. Anyway, guy brought it in, says it won't crank. And he's taking really good care of this, you can tell. Won't crank, but he did get a carburetor put on it last year, he said. And he said it hasn't ran since last year. So let's pop this air filter real quick. And I've already done this once while he was here, so I can show him something. So take this air filter cover off. Pull out the air filter, which not bad. Like I said, he takes good care. So if you can see right in there, I was able to spray some gas in there and it'll fire up. I don't know if you can see that choke lever. It's right there. But when you move the throttle down, the choke lever's stuck. Anyway, so I just pulled it down, and that choke lever doesn't move at all, or the valve, the butterfly valve. So we know that's a problem. And I told him it's probably going to need a carburetor clean if you left gas sitting up in it. So we're going to pull this stuff off and take a look at the carburetor. We're going to start by, you can't see this, I'm sure. Anyway, 2 10mm bolts to get this off, and this bolt right here, I believe it's a 10mm. And I'm going to try to do this without pulling this top cover, but more than likely we're going to pull the top cover. We're going to end up having to do it anyway. I always tell myself I'm going to try to do it without pulling the top cover, and I always have to pull the top cover. So, I'm anticipating, if the customer was telling me the truth, that new carburetor last season, now it won't crank, and I was able to get it to hit a lick, that the carburetor is stopped up, needs cleaning. So we're going to see how it turns out. Let's hope it's an easy one today. I'd like to get this one out of the way. Ooh, that was loose already. Alright. So we get this air filter cover off. Boom. Or air filter plate. Now I'm going to take you a little closer down here and show you. Be right back. Now you can see the carburetor a little better, and you see the choke. It looks like it's moving free by hand here, right? But when I do the choke, it's never moving at all. Why is that? This bar should be getting pushed up when I engage the choke. So this is not coming up far enough. So we're going to investigate that, and then we got to check the carburetor out as well. Alright, so we'll cut the fuel off. We've got the air cleaner off. I got the choke loosened up a little bit. So anyway, so now to pull this carburetor off, you got this. It's a metal gasket here. Comes off just like that. I just like to lay it there the way it goes back on. This is one of the easier Hondas to work on because it hadn't got all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Go ahead and get this fuel line off. A little tight. I'm gonna cut the fuel back on and let's just see if we got fuel running through to the carburetor. And we do. It's peeing gas out, so we got fuel going to the carburetor. Alright. So the next thing I'll do is take the carburetor off. And once you got to take the choke lever off, the governor linkage, it just pops straight out, and there's a spring. Now you can take you some needle nose, it's probably the easiest way to do it, because you don't want to really bend this spring. And just kind of lay those back there, and that'll give you a little more play in this choke lever. Get it to about right there. And you don't want to force it because you'll bend it. Alright, there we go. Got it off. So whoever put this on here before, when they put it back together, they had already bent this arm up pretty good. So I'm going to have to reshape that when we put it back on. But that's a lot why that throttle wasn't engaging. But I got one of those. So we got the carburetor off. Now we're going to move over to the table and take a look at it. Guys, so 10 millimeter. Wow, somebody had that on there good. So if you're bracing this on a table or whatever, get you a rag if it hurts your hands or gloves. But be careful, you don't want to have this down, your inlet down or whatever, because you might break that. You know, so keep in mind, just be aware of what you're doing. Sometimes these are a booger to get off because somebody cranked them up so hard. Alright. So it broke free. Alright. First, let's give it the smell test. Ooh, doesn't smell good. Got a little bit of build up in there. The float's starting to discolor. So these are all typical signs of gas sitting in the carburetor. So what we're going to do now, and y'all see me take 1,000 of these apart, I'm going to get the jets out and we're going to put it through the ultrasonic and clean it up, and I'll come back to you once I get it clean. Guys, so we got the main jet out. And I'm not seeing any daylight. Yeah. And here's what the emulsion tube looked like. It's all varnished over. I know it's hard to see on here, but I can't see any holes. Well, maybe one of them's unclogged, but that's it. So definitely we'll take the rest of this apart and get it in the ultrasonic. See you soon. So we're done with the ultrasonic. Cleaned up pretty well. And the guy, whoever did change this carburetor, they put an original Honda back on it. So that's good. So I've already cleaned out the ports with, I spray a little WD-40 and everything. The only thing I didn't show you before is I took this little thing out here. I forget what it's called. But the idle screw, you have to take the idle screw out, and this piece just pops up. The bowl's still a little bit grimy, but cleaned up okay. Still a little discoloration on here, but it's good. It looks discolored, but I can't get it any better. That's how I want to sand it off, but got the holes unstopped anyway. I don't know if y'all can see it. You're not going to be able to see that. Maybe you can see this. You can see the hole in that now. You can see the tree limbs through it. And there goes that dang no compressor, my boy, lady. So we'll get back to you. So I think we'll start with, we'll go ahead and put the needle and seat back on. Now this is a Honda carburetor. It's got the spring in it. So I didn't even take this off the float bowl to clean it. I just let it soak like that. That way I didn't have to keep up with it. So we'll drop that back in there just like it was. Take our little pin, get it all lined up. Now we got the pin in there. Oh, we missed it. Hold on. That happens. You got to hit all the holes, Bob. You haven't done your job right if you haven't got all the holes done. All right. I'm not much with numbers, but I can't imagine both schools not scoring a lot of points. I mean, I'm not aware of that. I don't know where it ends. I mean, I don't think it will be to the degree of last year. I think both defenses are. There we go. Or at least, I think Ole Miss's defense is a little bit better. I think Nick Saban doesn't really want that type of game, though. All right. Hold on, we'll pause you right here for a second. Sorry about that. Had that airplane coming over. So we got that working pretty good there. So the next thing to do is put your emulsion tube back in. There comes another stinking airplane. And it goes with the, you see this? That goes in first with that little flange on it. Just drop it in. And then we're going to put the main jet back in. And you just want to get it started, drop it in. And then take your special handy dandy screwdriver that you made for yourself. Or you could have bought you one. Get that lined up good. You don't want to strip it, so just go gentle. Snug it down. Snug it down and then go about a quarter turn, just like you put an air filter on the lawnmower. All right, we still got our gasket in here. It's still really good because this is a brand new carburetor, right, from last year. So then we want to put our bowl back on. And keep in mind the orientation of this. It's got a little dip in it. So if it was on the moor, it would be like this. This would be going to the fuel tank. And then you want your drain so you can get to the drain plug on it. All right, we'll get that on. We'll be back. So we got the carburetor back on. I tried to straighten this linkage out a little bit. It needs a little more bend in it, but I got it working where I believe that's enough choke on it. These Hondas don't need to choke all the way down anyway. So I've had the gas turned back on for about 15 minutes now, just checking for leaks before we go to the next step. So I don't know, are we feeling brave? I can put some spacers on here and put these nuts on and see if it'll pull over like this, or do you just want to put it all the way back together and fire it up? I'm feeling pretty confident today, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put it back together and fire it up. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so everything's back together. We're going to give it a pull and see what happens. So here we go. Choke her down. It's still wanting to surge a little bit, and So we'll check into that. But see all this smoke coming off over here? Looks like they put a new muffler on it and that's paint burning off right there. I'm gonna let it chill out a little bit, cool off. Gonna check these valves out, make sure they're good. But other than that, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave some likes and some comments. Please subscribe to my channel. Jungle Bob out.